You got a Google alert?
Yes.
What did you say to him?
I asked if it was true, and he admitted it right away. I think my response was, "Are you kidding me?"
Ashton Kutcher's rise to fame looks like the ultimate Hollywood playbook. A small-town model turns into a huge TV star, then flips into a tech investor and activist, switching lanes again and again while the public keeps cheering him on. Every version of him seemed polished, successful, almost too perfect. Until now, when some voices are starting to question that image. Jim Caviezel, known for speaking out even when it costs him, is now stepping into the spotlight with serious claims. He suggests Kutcher's public persona might not match what's behind the scenes, hinting that the nice guy image could be more calculated than real. Alleged connections to controversial figures and past remarks that raised eyebrows have pushed Kutcher into heavy public scrutiny, with people starting to look at him differently. Caviezel isn't new to calling out Hollywood either. He's dealt with backlash, criticism, even career risks, but he keeps going. Now he's pointing attention toward one of the industry's most recognizable faces, a man who has constantly reinvented himself, from modeling gigs to sitcom fame, prank TV, big money investments, and activism, always staying relevant no matter the era. So the real question stands: who is Ashton Kutcher beyond the spotlight? And what exactly is Jim Caviezel trying to bring to light? It all starts back in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, where Christopher Ashton Kutcher was born and raised in a working-class family, far removed from Hollywood connections. Just a regular background before the fame took over. A major part of Ashton's early life was shaped by something deeply personal: his twin brother Michael's serious health struggles, including a life-changing heart transplant. That situation hit hard, leaving Ashton with a mix of protectiveness and guilt that stayed with him for years. Watching someone so close go through that, while feeling powerless, left a mark that didn't just fade away. Some people believe that emotional weight influenced many of his choices later on. As the late 1990s rolled in, Ashton's life took a sharp turn when he was spotted at a local bar and pulled into the modeling world. From there, things moved fast. He became the face of major brands like Calvin Klein and Abercrombie & Fitch. These campaigns weren't just about fashion. They pushed a bold, edgy image of youth culture, designed to be eye-catching, provocative, and impossible to ignore. Now here's where the story starts raising eyebrows. Abercrombie & Fitch was connected to Les Wexner, the powerful businessman behind major retail giants. Over time, Wexner's name became linked to wider controversies involving Jeffrey Epstein, which later drew intense public and legal scrutiny. While these connections have been widely discussed, the full picture remains complex and heavily debated.
Oh, it looks like the asshole's come out of his little PR hidey hole, and he's back in the public eye. Let's talk about what's wrong with Ashton. Now, you may know already that Ashton is a part of a charity that is supposed to help victims, particularly of SA, but apparently their whole believe all victims ideology only applies if the victims aren't their friends.
What stands out is that Ashton was one of the recognizable faces tied to a brand within that world. Whether coincidence or proximity, it's a connection that has sparked curiosity among observers looking back at how certain networks and opportunities may have overlapped. For some, it raises questions about how doors open in powerful circles and what might come with them. During his modeling days, Ashton started crossing paths with actors, and it wasn't long before he stepped into that world himself. His big break came in 1998 when he landed the role of Michael Kelso on That 70s Show, a role that quickly made him a household name and locked him into Hollywood's spotlight. The show didn't just bring fame, it built strong personal and professional connections. Ashton formed close bonds with cast members like Danny Masterson and Mila Kunis, who he would later marry. But over time, some of those relationships became surrounded by serious controversy, especially with Masterson's legal case and conviction, which brought intense public attention and scrutiny to anyone connected to him. At this point, people started noticing a pattern: questions, headlines, and situations that didn't sit right. Ashton's life, while successful on the surface, has also been followed by moments that sparked concern and curiosity. And one of the most shocking moments traces back to a night that still gets talked about to this day. On February 21st, 2001, Ashton had plans to meet a young woman named Ashley Ellerin, but when he arrived, things didn't go as expected. He later stated that he knocked on her door, got no response, and eventually left. What he didn't know at the time was that something tragic had already happened inside the home. Ashley Ellerin was later found deceased in her apartment, a heartbreaking and violent incident that stunned many. Ashton later testified about that night, explaining his actions and timeline. While his fingerprints were found at the scene, authorities did not accuse him of any wrongdoing, and he was not charged in connection to the crime. Still, the case remains one of those moments that continues to raise questions and draw attention years later. Kutcher explained that the two had plans to meet for drinks that night, but when Ashley didn't answer his calls, he decided to stop by her place. He told the jury, "I knocked on the door. There was no answer." He said he knocked again. Still nothing. According to his testimony, "At this point, I pretty well assumed she had left for the night and that I was late and she was upset." He went on to say that when he got there, the lights were on inside, and the place didn't look fully in order. He stated, "It was a little bit of a mess. I saw what I thought was red wine spilled on the carpet," adding, "I didn't really think." Later, Ashton admitted he was concerned about how things might look, especially since his fingerprints ended up on the door of the home. During the trial, Gargiulo's attorney, Daniel Nardone, told him, "Don't worry, you're not a suspect." Over the years, online theories and cryptic posts have kept rumors alive, but no verified evidence has ever tied Ashton to the crime. Still, the timing continues to stand out to many. He was expected to meet her, arrived shortly after, and had been at the scene. Even without charges, the situation leaves lingering questions for some observers. And Ashley Ellerin's case isn't the only tragic loss connected to Ashton's past that people talk about. His former girlfriend, actress Brittany Murphy, passed away in 2009. Her death was officially ruled as pneumonia with contributing factors. Yet the circumstances, especially with her husband's similar passing not long after, have continued to spark public curiosity and ongoing discussion. Over the years, many people have questioned the official explanations surrounding Brittany Murphy's passing, pointing to details they feel never fully added up. Speculation has spread online, with some trying to connect Ashton to her death, but it's important to note there has never been any verified evidence supporting those claims, only ongoing curiosity and unanswered questions. Looking at the bigger picture, some observers focus on the fact that Ashton was linked in different ways to two tragic situations. Ashley Ellerin lost her life on a night he was supposed to meet her, and Brittany Murphy's passing later raised eyebrows for entirely separate reasons. For some, it feels like an eerie coincidence, while others, like Jim Caviezel, have suggested there could be a deeper pattern. Caviezel has made strong claims, questioning Ashton's actions that night and how everything unfolded. Still, Ashton testified about his version of events, stating he knocked, received no answer, and left, unaware of what had happened inside. Authorities investigated the case thoroughly, and he was never charged or named as a suspect. Even so, the timeline and circumstances continue to spark debate online. Some people remain uneasy about how close he was to these tragic moments, while others point out that speculation doesn't equal proof. What's clear is that these events left a lasting impact and continue to be discussed years later. Now, if that wasn't enough, Jim Caviezel has also pointed to Ashton Kutcher's reputation behind the scenes, especially when it comes to his work. One of the biggest examples is the show that helped make him a household name.
You see, Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher wrote a character reference letter for this guy after he was convicted of 2 essays. Funny thing is, they didn't just come out and apologize for it. They came out because it got leaked that they had written said letter and the contents of said letter. Now, mind you, there was only 2 convictions, but there were multiple victims that came forward. And if you listen to their statements, it's horrifying. But knowing said crimes, Ashton and Mila wrote a character letter, including talking about how Danny helped the 9/11 firefighters.
Punked. The prank series started off with a controversial concept, pushing boundaries right from the beginning and getting people talking fast. Those early pranks didn't always land well either. Some participants felt genuinely upset or embarrassed, and in certain cases, it even led to legal complaints over emotional distress. People were put in uncomfortable situations for entertainment, and not everyone found it funny. Still, despite the backlash, the show exploded in popularity and became a defining part of early 2000s pop culture, boosting Ashton's fame even higher. but not without criticism about how far it went. Then there are the connections that keep raising eyebrows. Back in 2003, Ashton was seen attending a Scientology Celebrity Center Christmas party alongside Danny Masterson. While Ashton has never publicly said he's part of Scientology, his presence around members and events has sparked ongoing curiosity. People have questioned what those connections really meant and how deep they went. Things got even more intense when Ashton wrote a letter supporting Masterson during his legal case, asking the judge for leniency and describing him as a role model. That move drew heavy public backlash, especially considering the seriousness of the conviction. Many people haven't let that moment go, and for some, it added another layer to the growing list of concerns surrounding Ashton's public image. Ashton's connections with powerful and controversial figures have drawn serious attention over the years. Names like Harvey Weinstein, Les Wexner, and Diddy have all come up in conversations, each tied to major public scandals and investigations in different ways. That overlap has made people stop and ask, what do these figures have in common, and why was Ashton seen around them at different points? To be clear, there's no direct evidence linking Ashton to any criminal activity connected to these individuals. But his proximity to them has kept speculation alive, with critics pointing to a pattern of associations that feels hard for some to ignore. It's that kind of pattern that keeps fueling debates and online discussions, especially when people start connecting dots that may or may not belong together. Ashton's career has long been built on likability, access, and constant reinvention. A strong public image opened doors, influential connections helped him rise, and his ability to adapt kept him relevant across different industries. But over time, repeated controversies and public missteps have started to chip away at that polished image. The backlash surrounding the letters of support for Danny Masterson became a major turning point. For weeks, the spotlight stayed fixed on Ashton and Mila as they asked the judge for leniency, describing him as a role model despite the seriousness of the conviction. That moment stuck with the public, and many haven't moved past it, especially as renewed attention continues to focus on Ashton's past associations and the company he kept. The re-evaluation of Ashton Kutcher's image is happening in real time. People are starting to ask deeper questions. Who is he really? And why does he keep appearing alongside powerful figures surrounded by controversy? Online discussions have only made things louder, with theories, viral posts, and non-stop debates that refuse to fade away. Audiences today are more skeptical than ever. The polished smile seen on screen doesn't always match what people believe could be happening behind the scenes. Ashton has become one of those figures caught in that shift, where fans begin to question the gap between public image and private reality. His story is complicated. A public figure who rose through Hollywood, business, and activism while moving through influential social and corporate circles. His success isn't being questioned, but his connections and the situations tied to them have added layers of doubt for many observers. It's not about what he achieved, but who he stood next to and the decisions that came with it. This shift shows how quickly public trust can change when actions and perception don't line up. Ashton helped build an organization focused on protecting children, which has been widely recognized for its impact. At the same time, critics point to his past associations with figures like Les Wexner, creating a contrast that keeps people talking and questioning how all these pieces fit together. Who really allowed figures like Jeffrey Epstein to move in powerful circles? That question has made people look closely at overlapping connections. Names like Harvey Weinstein, Danny Masterson, and Diddy have all faced serious public scrutiny in different ways, and Ashton Kutcher has, at various points, been in the same social orbit as some of them. That contrast has stood out to many observers, creating a tension people can't ignore. For critics, the contradiction feels loud. On one side, there's Ashton's public work and advocacy, and on the other, the company he's been seen around in the past. It raises a bigger question about how influence works in those elite spaces and whether actions and associations always align the way people expect. Ashton's journey highlights something real about fame. Likability can open doors, but it doesn't answer every question. Over time, people start looking deeper at choices, relationships, and the lines someone decides not to cross. Those details begin to shape how the public really sees you. So now it comes down to this. Can Ashton Kutcher be trusted? Is he truly the activist he presents himself as, or just another figure navigating Hollywood's complicated world? If this made you think, drop a comment with your take, share this with others, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives like this.